Jamie McLennan joins us. No doubt, have air conditioning in that
Palace.
Yep, I have 3 of them.
Oh, wow. That is just,
So what do you mean? You need it for each level, right? Don't you? Isn't that
you need it for the basement?
Yeah.
Really? Gets hot up there, I guess.
You could just disrobe, and then you don't have to have the AC.
It's a shack, but the thing is, you need air conditioning moving around. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can get 1 big one or 3 small ones, type of thing, or 2 small ones. I discovered something better though. Did you guys look at this?
What's that?
Oh no, a new Cove flavor.
The Cove soda with the
ice pop.
Yeah.
Wow.
My son is so fired up, but I keep drinking them. So
how do they keep all the 3 flavors separate in there? What's up with that?
I don't know. It's like I'm right now. I'm at the blue part, but the white.
Which is your favorite? Yeah,
I like the raspberry at the top.
I don't know. My tongue is still white, so I don't know or whatever.
You're still in the middle section.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
Who shot the puck at, or who did Alfredson shoot the puck at?
Scott Niedermayer. Scott Niedermayer, the best thing he did was pretend it didn't happen. Like Alfie was, I didn't like it. I thought it was a bad move. But when asked about it afterwards, Niedermayer was like, no, I think he was just dumping the puck in. He knew exactly what he was doing. But Niedermayer wouldn't give him the satisfaction of like that guy pissed me off. He literally was like, oh, I don't know. I think it hit my glove or something. And all Niedermayer did was just win the cup. Like that was,
Last laugh.
Like I joke, and I'm not lying. I'm half serious, or maybe even more than half serious. I think hockey was too easy for Scott Niedermayer. It didn't challenge him. Obviously we played with the other half, Rob.
What a treat.
I love Rob.
It's not too easy for him, Noodles. It's not too easy for him.
His name came up the other day, and we did a deep dive into his stats.
Yeah.
Played a long time.
He's a good player too, but he's
a great guy.
I have a day that if you were taken in the first round, you played forever.
Yeah. And you know what though? My funniest story about Needs, and I still tell Craig Button this to this day. So trade deadline day, we had a game that night and morning skate, and I shower. I come out of the shower there. I'm by, less than all those guys there by that office. And Rob Niedermayer comes in, and he had just showered, so we're talking, and he goes, Craig Button is upstairs right now. There are 20 teams trying to trade for me. He goes, because I'm a winner. This is what he was saying. He was joking. Like if you knew Needs, he's like the funniest guy.
So dry.
Very dry humor. He goes, Craig Button is upstairs fielding so many calls for me right now. And I go, Craig Button is upstairs begging for teams to take you off of our hands. Begging. And I go, he can't wait to get rid of you. He's begging for teams to just take you off of our hands. Through the curtain walks Craig and goes, Rob, can I talk to you? He had traded him to
Yes. That's amazing.
And of course, Needs goes and wins a Stanley Cup there.
Let's go to Anaheim and play one of the best teams.
And you know what? I've told Craig that story because Craig doesn't remember. Craig didn't hear me. Thank God he didn't hear me going, our GM is trying to give you away right now and all of that. But Craig said the funny part is he actually wanted to extend Rob, and there was some form. I don't know if it was an ownership thing or if it was his agent thing or whatever, but they just never couldn't get it done, so they had to trade him. And he went and won a Stanley Cup in Anaheim with his brother too.
That was why you wanted to extend him.
Yeah.
See if you can get the brother to come.
Was that a game of chess? Maybe you hang on to Rob Niedermayer. There's this strong desire to play together. Maybe that.
And I don't disagree with you. Sorry to interrupt. I think it was too easy for Scott.
Scott, if you've ever, because you guys know Jason Strudwick, who's a dear friend of mine, and Struddy's cousins with them, right? Like they're first cousins. And so I've gone to Scott Niedermayer's house in Anaheim. You would have no idea he played hockey. There's not trophies everywhere. There's he's just a humble, amazing person who, is nature guy and just a very good family guy and that. But you would have no idea that this guy arguably could be one of the greatest. Like, I think he was one of the best defensemen who ever played the game. And he walked away. I think he walked away at about 35, 36. He could have signed a 5-year deal in Anaheim and still played. The guy could
still be playing the way he moved.
Remember Chelios played?
Yes.
He had like 50 points, was the captain of the Ducks, and he just walked.
Yeah, just like, I'm good. Like, just said, I'm good. But if you look at his career,
Olympics, and that was the end.
If you look at his career, he won everywhere he went.
Everywhere.
Yeah, Kamloops.
He won
Jersey,
everything in hockey.
Everything in hockey that was possible to win, he won.
He's triple gold club too, which is a small group. That's the World Championships, Olympics, and Stanley Cup.
He won everything in hockey there is to win. He won the Kazakhstan Cup. Like, this guy's done it all.
Yeah. And like, effortless, like, just skated around like, nah, you know, like it was like the game. I swear to God, as we all battled and like just scratched and clawed,
just trying to get through.
Yeah, like hockey was, I swear to God, was too easy for Scott Niedermayer. And he was like, okay, I've put in my 18, 20 years, whatever he did.
What else?
I'll see you later. Like, he's an unbelievable human too. I love his brother Rob. I tease his brother Rob, but they're a great family. They're just great people.
The two of them, dusters. So we're playing in the NHL. In Jersey's in town to play us in a day or two, maybe the next night. And Tyson is fighting someone. It's a heavyweight fight. And I'd said to Rob at Pratt, let's go watch the fight tonight. Yeah, let's do that. Where can we do that? I'm a kid. He's like, I'll get my brother. We'll come over to your house. Like, I'm billeting with some old bat middle of nowhere, and they come to my house to rent the fight. What the are we doing? Yeah, me and the Hall of Famer, sitting on a love seat watching a fight at my billet's house.
Love seat with a quilt on it, with a knitted quilt on it, because you're billeting. Oh my God.
Brian Burke's line was always about scouting bloodlines. He's like, usually the younger brothers, as he's grown up, the older brothers really kind of led the way, and he'll be the more talented of the two. He says, I had Rob and Scott. I was like, Rob, I don't know what happened to you. You're the exception to this rule.
Who was older, Val or Pavel? I feel like Pavel was older there too. That'd be another one.
Pavel was older. Eric Lindros was older. Then
you never know what Brett was going to be. He got
Brett looked damn good until his concussions got him. I don't think he was tough. Brett good, but he was physical.
They both were monsters. Like, they both were. It just Brett had the concussion issues, but Brett didn't have what Eric had. Like, Eric was
the high end skill. Yeah.
Oh,
and the thing with Niedermayer is there's some clutching and grabbing era in there as well.
He was small into that era
that he still was able to kind of
like he was only 6 feet.
A lot like Lidstrom. Like, you couldn't hit him. You didn't isn't it famous? Was it Ty Domi that suckered?
Yeah, we're looking for it. I got Jack on it. Yeah, it's a bad one.
It's a bad one, right?
Yeah, and Ty to this day, he feels shitty about it because it was a friggin' nasty one for sure.
Wasn't it like a sucker or an elbow?
Oh yeah, sucker.
Nasty. Like
Ty
had a few of those in his career. Where that Ulf Samuelsson one.
Mm-hmm. Boom, didn't he end Buka?
Oh no, that was Matty Johnson.
Oh,
and we were talking about it on air the other day. Some of the worst like sucker punch. I said that Matt Johnson on Jeff Boogaboom might be one of the worst because of how big Matt Johnson was. Yeah. Matt Johnson was we called him the Moose, and Boogaboom was 6'6". I think that ended his career. He never played again.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that was, like, you look at some of those suspensions now, like we were joking on air about, remember Dale Hunter on Pierre Turgeon?
Yes.
I was a black ace. I was actually at the game. And Hunter said that, this is the best part. He said he didn't hear the whistle or think puck was in the net. Turgeon had his arms in the air and the crowd was going,
yeah.
You could count like 1 potato, and then he runs them into the boards. Like, that's actually one of the most insane, like, reaction ones I've ever seen.
So here's the question I have. We laugh about that stuff. You get disgusted by some of it.
Yes.
but you respected it, and there was something to it. And then you watch Gostisbehere keep his gloves on to defend himself against Marchand last night, and I can't decide what makes more sense.
Well, especially when you shot the puck at him.
Yes, exactly. Like, I'm going to.
You're
I'm
the
going
one who actually didn't like the hit that Marchand gave you. So then the retaliatory is like, I'm going to take a shot at him. Fine. You want to be dirty. He wants to take a piece of you. You're going to take a piece of him. And then it's glove on, like whatever that was. And Marchand's like, we all know how tiny he is, but he's got jam. I'll tell you what, like, this is just a fact. Florida doesn't get through Toronto if it wasn't for 63. Like Marchand was unbelievable. That whole series, that line, that third line was the difference.
He knew how to beat him.
Like Bobrovsky was great. And yes, there were other individual performances. Seth Jones that's the Seth Jones we've all been waiting to watch and play our whole lives, right? Like
since
we all thought that, in Columbus and then to Chicago but like it was Brad Marchand. I talked to somebody in Florida the day before the game. So it was 2 days ago. And they were like 63 was the difference. And it took him a bit to settle in too. Keep in mind, he got traded. He was hurt. Yeah. He was hurt when they acquired him. And then he didn't want to step on toes as far as how do I integrate into a new organization when I'm a leader, I'm a captain. So he was like apparently very methodical about it. And now like all I hear is that the guys can't get love him to death because he's a big personality and he's playing with two younger Finnish guys that just idolize him. And those are good players too, that he's
made himself a ton of money. He and Sam Bennett, like maybe they stay, and like Bennett's been there a while. It's only been a few months for Marchand, but I don't know if there's two guys heading into the summer that have increased their stock or their value more, because at this time of year, this is when you hang banners, and they've completely got their fingerprints all over the first two series they've won.
100%. And it's easy. I live in Toronto, so people are like, okay, it's easy. Let's just sign Ekblad, Bennett, and Marchand. And that'll solve. And I go, they're watching fans throwing jerseys on. I go, you think they want to come here? Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe they will. And I think it's overblown. I don't know how you guys feel. The only thing I could think of, having played in both New York markets, like I played for both, Toronto is it's a big city like New York. So the fans let you hear it. I mean, and it's a passionate fan base. I get it. But I watch the Yankees get booed off the field. I see it all the time. It's like New York now. That's just what it is. But we think of it now because it's across on the Canadian border, on the Canadian side. I look at Toronto's American. Toronto's like New York. That's the way.
But the difference is that Toronto's the biggest team. The Leafs are the biggest team in the market by a mile. The Rangers have to be really good to get even close to the Yankees and the football and the Knicks.
That's why
they're the biggest team in their own building. That's the difference.
That's why I said Yankees fans boo him off. It's that nobody cares about the rate. I'm saying it's more.
Okay. Yeah.
My comparison was more to big city to big city. It wasn't team to team, because you're right. The Leafs are the Mecca. We all know it. I mean, it's the biggest fan base. It's the biggest everything. It's the loudest noises, all of that. But I would have liked to see, I don't know how you guys felt, like even in yesterday's media, I would like to see Austin Matthews go, I like it here. I have no problem with the fans. I have no problem with anything. Like just stand up for your organization and go, like, we didn't get it done and we're going to work at this and we're going to get it done and can't wait to do it. Like, it's just, they're so media guarded. I don't think they say anything that they really maybe want to say.
So because I've thought about this a lot, because your good friend Peter Hanlon works for the Flames. He's the guy that's in charge of that side of things for the Flames. And I'm sure the Leafs and everyone else has it, if not more guys, or this is how we handle the media. This is what we want to accomplish. I sometimes wonder if they've taken the personalities out. Yep. They've taught the guys not to trust the media. They don't say anything. And not only on top of that, I don't know what word to use, but it's hard for those players, because are taught to be so guarded to actually feel like they're part of that community and care about the teams. And I don't know if that even makes any sense.
It
There's
does.
such a protection
Well, it's
for the players
it
that
becomes
actually
sanitized. Like that's what they become sanitized. It's like you come here and it's like, okay, everything is so much louder, so much more under the microscope. So what they do is go the other way. It's like, we got to keep it tight. We got to keep it this. And I understand it from letting people behind the curtain. There's a difference between what goes on in the room stays in the room and it's none of your business. But you're still allowed. Like I look at it, I feel like Matthew Tkachuk will act like Matthew Tkachuk no matter where he is. You know,
Marchand.
Where it was Calgary, Brad Marchand, same thing. But there's certain guys that just aren't wired that way. They may be not as comfortable in front of the camera. They're allowed to be. Look at 97 up the road. He's not
Nerd alert.
comfortable.
Sid never says anything. We don't know anything about Sid.
No, and that's fine. But I still think they overprotect them, and they don't feel they're not allowed to show their true emotions. And Dougie Gilmore, and again, those are different personalities. But Dougie Gilmore and even Jamie McCowan, who hangs around Calgary, Wendell Clark, those were Leafs. They wanted to be a Toronto, and they told you how they wanted to be a Toronto Maple Leaf, and they loved to be. I want to be part of this community. I want to be.
All of those guys, right? But it's right now, and the only thing I struggle, maybe you guys can weigh in too, but social media has changed a lot of this too, right? The way, we always talk about how we acted and how we conducted our lives in 04, 02, 01, all of that compared to what life would be like now. Yeah. And, it's funny. Last time I was on, I was going for lunch with Gio, right? So I said, I got to cut out. I'm going to go for lunch with Gio. We had a good chat about that because I said, what did you, comparison Calgary to Toronto? And he goes, Jamie, in Calgary, you still felt like it was small enough community that you could function in, where, you can go for dinner, you can go. In Toronto, there are places to hide. It's a big city. It's like New York. You can find a corner to go to, but everyone here is in tune with the Leafs. Everyone's in tune with their team. So he said, he enjoyed it. He said, for the most part, even Dion used to tell me, he goes, Jamie, it seems worse in the media. It seems worse online. He goes, I get treated awesome by fans. And the fans, for the most part, come up and say, hey, I've been a Leaf fan since 1975. Good luck. And like you said, once in a while, we get the jackass that's got a comment here or there. But I would argue, and this is my question to you guys, nowadays, you see people that walk up to people with the phone. And they're going, hey, you, they're looking for the reaction. They're looking for, because hey, I'm gonna make
Kelsey when he smacked that guy.
Yeah. But it's hey, I'm gonna chirp you and get it on video. And so I feel like social media and clicks and YouTube streaming, or what is it? YouTube streaming and TikTok and all this stuff that might contribute a thin layer to how guys react in real life now.
Okay, so and again, I don't disagree with any of that. It is bang on. The guy's telling you that it's that way. That is the way it is, and you see it, and it's brutal. The question, and I don't care about the Leafs, and I did not follow the breakdown here with the media availability. Do you get the sense that those guys have the heart and soul that the old guys that we just discussed had, and that they want to actually perform for the city, for the franchise, for the team? Or do you get the sense that there's a lot of, well, it's good for me and it's fine, but I'm doing my job, you pay me.
The guys you mentioned didn't win either. That's an important distinction.
Did you question ever that era of player? You don't always win.
You're right. They didn't win, but they were the prototypical, Toronto Maple Leaf. I will say that. But here's what I'm going to say. I think we're just going to talk about the core four. Okay, the four guys that get paid the double digits there. I think they all have the desire to win. I think they all want to win. I think they all say the right things. I think they work hard. I don't think the four of them collectively, and we've got 9 years of data now. Tavares is 7 of the 9. I don't think the four of them can do it together. And what I mean by that is all four of them play and are wired the same way.
Yeah.
So I look at it, and I actually just did this comparison. I don't even know if I talked about it on air, but if you look at Sasha Barkov and Sam Reinhart, they're not, I'm going to say this respectfully, bastards to play against, right? They're just really good. Like, I think they're superstars in their own right. Like, they can score, they can check, they do, but they're quiet, right? They're not punching guys in the face. They're not, but what they are surrounded with is Bennett, Tkachuk. Now it's Marchand, and they've got a really good supporting cast, and Lundell and Luosterainen and Verhaeghe and Rodriguez. So I look at it that those two guys, they don't have to be like that. They can just play great, and some of the other stuff can be handled in playoff hockey. And I'm not saying they don't compete and they don't hit and they don't, Sam Reinhart got destroyed behind the net by Simon Benoit. Massive hit. I've never seen any one of those core four ever get hit like that, because I don't know if they go to areas where you can actually get hit like that. Sam Reinhart took that hit to make a play. That was a destroying hit. He got up and skated away. I can't count on my hand in the 9 years I've watched that core four, them being hit that hard, ever being hit like that. And so what I mean is, I think individually they have the desire. I just think 4 is too many. I think they can survive. They can have 2, and they can use that money to surround them with different types of personalities and players. That would be my sense on that group in Toronto.
Remember Florida too, because they won a President's Trophy with Huberdeau and Weegar and Ekblad and Barkov, and they didn't have Tkachuk, and they didn't have Marchand, and some of these other dirtbags. Bill Zito said, "I can't win with this group in the playoffs. I know I can win in the regular season. We got President's Trophy, but Tampa keeps running our show in the playoffs. I got to build this differently for the second season." And then they offer up a king's ransom for Tkachuk. When you think about it, it's 115-point forward. It's a top pair defenseman and a first rounder. Like, the Flames did not get hosed in that deal. They made some mistakes with some contracts after, but that's a haul for a player. And I wonder, Brad Treliving's now 2 years in. Is he thinking what Bill Zito's thinking? And what's your guess on how this plays out?
I 100%. Now, my only question, and I think there's things to get to it before that, is it might be addition by subtraction, because Mitch Marner might just say, "It doesn't matter what you offer me, I'm walking." So
you get that money. Yeah.
So then you've got that $11 million to spend. John Tavares, you are deciding if you're bringing him back at half or whatever, like whatever the salary looks like and term. Guy scored 38 goals last year, but I think, again, Father Time is coming for him. It's, he looked a little older in the playoffs, and especially those last 3 games, he wasn't productive. So you're 100% right. Billy Zito said, this team is really good. We won the President's, but it's not good enough, this team as it's constructed, to win. So he took a chance. This is out of the box thinking. I'm going to go and get, again, I'm saying it's respectfully, a bastard. I'm going to go get a great player, but who's just different. He's wired different than Barkov and Reinhart. He's not those guys. He's the exact opposite of them. He still has skill, but he's a different type. He's a mouthpiece, and he drags people into the fight. Like, you could argue that trade changed the fortunes of that whole organization, correct?
Yep. There's some good fortune too there that type of player is available, because usually they're not. But Tkachuk is at an impasse.
And he traded for Bennett as well. Like, it's clearly a type of player who's coveting. But to your point, how rarely a guy like Tkachuk that's got the physicality, but also the skill, like almost never.
Yeah, we got a player who will waive his no move. Like, we can get him here, and the trade makes sense, and we can afford him, and they want the package back in trade. Like, it was obviously it's a masterclass from Bill Zito. He's
and then Marchand gets the Bruins over the barrel and says, "I'm a Hall of Fame Bruin. Like, trade me to this team."
Yeah,
and you need to pay much to get him.
Yeah,
well, now in Marshy's defense on that, because they played last night, Boston got a first rounder out of it, right? It was a conditional second that turned to a first if he made conference final. So now Boston gets a first rounder out of it. They can use it. And if Marchand goes and wins, he might sign back there this summer. Like, I could,
A lot of teams will want him.
Yeah.
Toronto, LA, Florida, like name the list. Everyone needs a guy like that.
There's a massive list. I get, you know, I
Even Bennett.
So you're in Leafland, and since we're playing this game, Ekblad and all the we're gonna make it the Panthers North, and we're gonna sign all these. Why would they leave? Why is anyone in Florida leaving and going?
That's what I'm saying. Like, just because a fan base, or, you know, we talk about it in the media, like, would Aaron Ekblad look great for the Calgary Flames? 100%. Like, you know, would Brad Marchand on a short deal, you bring him in and try and help out some of those young guys get to the next level, show the leadership, all of that. All three of those players would be coveted. Doesn't mean they're coming to any organization.
Yeah.
Florida could go, you guys want to stay? We'll make this work. You know, and
you played there. Would you leave? Florida Cup team? They
have built a program now, Rhett, like since you played there, and then since I played there, practice rink is in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Like these guys now live in that area and take golf carts to practice.
Yeah, they all live next to each other. The only way you leave is if you get so much more money. And now the team that gets the player, it's not a value deal and you're overpaying. But Sam Reinhart went through it a year ago. Bennett will go through it this summer. Ekblad will go through it this summer.
Yes.
If the Florida Panthers want you, they'll likely keep you. And they'll pay you less than market. That's just that's the program they built. And they kind of modeled it off Tampa.
Yeah. But it's you model after Tampa. I mean, Florida, the state of Florida, when it comes to hockey, has been the gold standard for hockey the last 5 years, as far as championships, pedigree, place to live, tax situation. You can't get around it other than, you know, some of the other states in the U.S. Alberta is another tax situation that people don't point out. It's pretty good tax.
Used to be better.
Well, listen, I know.
It becomes premier. We'll fix that.
Not now.
But Rhett's mentioned, and I know you guys, we can move on, but you know, Florida didn't just become warm with, you know, golf carts. Winning helps. There was a long time if you got traded or drafted by Florida, you're like, well,
and hey, Arizona's got all the things we talked about Florida has, minus the winning. I mean, good weather, you want to drive your golf cart, but look, the ownership piece was the one that was missing. That's the point.
Yeah, and now it's
the owner needs to get the building, and when you got those two things, Arizona would have been fine.
I agree. They've just built the rink in the wrong spot, and Florida built the rink in the wrong spot. But what they did is they worked to alleviate that and go, we're just going to go play there. It's like MSG when you play for the Rangers. You never practice here. You're just going to go play there. And we're practicing over here. Our workout thing is here. You guys are going to live here. Your life is here. You're just driving 30 minutes to play there and then heading back. Like
Fort Lauderdale, not Miami. That's the change they made, right?
Yeah. Well, they're in Sunrise now, but it's just a better situation. You're right. Winning helps because ask the guys who signed in Edmonton. You know, they weren't going for the weather. They're going because the Golden Goose is there. That's Jeff Skinner and guys like that, you know, may have had offers. I know Skinner's an afterthought right now. Jeff is, not Stewart, but you look at, they got some value contracts last summer, Adam Henrique and guys like that, because they wanted an opportunity. And really, you build a winning program, people want a piece of it, but it doesn't hurt the intangibles that come up that you just pointed out, like Florida and, you know, the weather, the travel, all of that type of stuff. But man, those organizations like Florida they found something again. Like it took them a couple games. They dusted Tampa in 5. It was a hard fought series, and it took them about 2.5 games against the Leafs to kind of wake up and get going. And then I remember saying on my show, it looks like they've found their game again. It looks like they've found like what it takes and put it all together. And man, they're like a machine right now. Dangerous.
There's some 100-point teams from the regular season that are crumpled up and lying on the side of the road. Colorado, Tampa, and LA from round 1, Washington, Winnipeg, Toronto, Vegas, most recently. I guess of that group, is there one that you feel for, that you feel was fortunate to have success but isn't built right and is just not a playoff threat, or just any kind of thoughts on those teams? Because the 82 games was great.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado, I feel like it's weird because they've won, so I don't feel like feel bad for the fan base or anything. I just look at it and that's a team that swung for the fences because they switched out. Like they were doing it like on the fly. Hey, two goalies. Hey, we're going to, trade. Didn't like Middlestad's too small of a centerman. Got to bring in. Here's Coyle. Here's Brock Nelson. Like I really liked in the end how aggressive they were, but it was, I don't understand to this day. The Rantanen thing is just, I don't know where the disconnect was. I don't know. And it might be a 30 for 30 at some point because Rantanen's side says that there was, like what he's sharing and what we're getting out of Colorado, they don't match up together.
There's two touch points. It's the GM and the agent. Somewhere in there, their ball was dropped. The communication was not clear enough between the two sides because the way they viewed it was so completely differently.
Right. And the agent's not going to admit to trying to overplay it. And the GM's not going to admit that maybe he should have gone back one more time to say final offer type of thing. But that one stings. I feel bad for LA because I think LA was a really good team. Edmonton just found it. Like they found it, right? Like LA was I thought LA was going to give Edmonton everything and probably I was leaning LA to beat them. Edmonton, and you're right. They did have them at certain parts of that series that could have been difference makers, and it just didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had
3 or 4, you had the opportunity to win and should have probably won. And the hockey gods have played a huge role in this year's playoffs. So it's fine. It is what it is. And we're not Oilers fans, so we're not going to toot their horn too much and say, oh, they did a good job battling through. I really think the Kings gave away that series.
Well, certainly two things come to mind. The goalie challenge, which was a TSN turning point, and then Byfield not getting that puck out.
Either one of those.
And the GM's not there, fellas. Like they're acknowledging what we're acknowledging. It wasn't good enough. That was your chance. And now it's time for a regime switch.
Well,
Do you think that Blakey was part of that, though? Do you think Blakey was like, I've had enough of this shit?
It was framed that way. I could believe that. But if they win, I bet she's not doing that. You know what I mean?
No.
At some point, so this is the difference, and this is why it's funny. I can bring anything back to the Toronto Maple Leafs. You got organizations like the LA Kings that go, we lost 4 years in a row to the same team, and we can't get over that hump. Change has to happen. 9 years in Toronto, and they go, we're bringing the same group back. We're going to change, this, and we're going to, and it's changed. But it's like we're pot committed to these 4 guys, and we'll call it 5 with Morgan Riley there. But like I think Brad Treliving brought in some great pieces. Like I thought he did a great job in the offseason. You hit on Stolarz. The 3D he brought in really helped shore up their D. Ekman Larson. We all love Chris Tanev. I look at it, Brandon Carlo at the trade deadline. You're trying to make it bigger. You're trying to I think a lot of the moves he made hit. But in the end, we're all going, you've lost 7 game 7s in a row. The last 5, you've scored 1 goal. And you're paying 4 guys $11+ million to score your goals. Like that's where the definition of insanity can't continue on.
I will say, like, there's been 3 GMs and at least 3 or 4 coaches, but you're right. Like, it's those 4 guys, and that's why it's over now.
But if
2
the
of them are
GMs
used,
and the coaches can't make the changes to the big dogs and do the things that need to be done, then what?
One guy's been there 11 years.
Just one.
The president.
Not any longer, I'm guessing. What's your vibe on that?
His contract's up in June, and the only thing I would say is, I know everybody is emotional about it right now, but if you take a look at where the organization was when Brendan Shanahan took over, I think he put it back on the map to respectability in certain things off ice. Like he mended a lot of relationships that were fractured from the Harold Ballard era. Dave Keon, he made a Legends Row. I think he made a lot of alumni feel very important, which they should, because they have skin in the game here. He brought in Lou Lamoriello and started, a hard program. He pivoted to a progressive way in Kyle Dubas, and I think that went on a little bit too long. If that wasn't working, I would argue he probably could have moved away from the formula sooner. But been a lot of good things. Like if they end up moving away from him, which I suspect they will, his legacy won't be just failed Shanahan. I think there's a lot of good things that came with it. But in the end, they were married to 4 guys and they gave them all the big contracts and
continually.
And those are the guys that didn't get it done when it most mattered. And, you know, it's pretty interesting to see, like my host, Brian Hayes, brought up something yesterday. You could break their tenure, the 9 years, into 3-year segments. The last 3 years, they went to second round. The year before, it was Matthews going for 70, the chase that everybody was excited about. And the year before, they went to the second round, beating Tampa and lost to Florida. There was a lot of progression there. It was the 6 years before where it's like you lost to Montreal up after 3-1, Columbus, and like there was some egregious failures in there.
3-1 to Montreal might have been the worst. Yeah.
3-1 to Montreal in the bubble or whatever that was. And couldn't get it done. And those are damning things for these guys. So it's been a tough grind for Leaf fans for sure.
Yeah, we feel it. Sorry about that. Just before we let you go, some things that we'll start with. We were talking about Scott Niedermayer.
Yeah.
And it's cheap shot, I suppose, would be the best way. Ty Domi did say post-career, this is the thing he feels the worst about from his career. Niedermayer, just, again, nicest guy, lady bang, wouldn't hurt anybody. Pow.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
That is...
Did they stretcher him off?
Yeah. How many games is that now? Is that 40? Like, that's so dirty.
Like,
is he skating right at me? Yes, he is. Oh, that's his elbow. Yeah, he got the rest of the playoffs in 8 games to start the following season for that elbow.
That's embarrassing for the sport. You should hockey. God.
Oof.
That's vicious.
Isn't it?
It's so egregious. Like there's the puck's nowhere near, like it's like there's nothing. There's nowhere near, like it's like he's in cruise control going to the bench probably for a change, and you let up on the play because the puck's nowhere near, and then this guy comes with an elbow to the mosh.
And it's not like Niedermayer probably was sticking and hacking him earlier in the shift. No, he's not doing any of that. Domi, and again, we didn't spend a lot of time on it, but the Ulf Samuelsson, I think everyone remembers that one. He, again, in the cheap shot category.
This one's egregious because I think he drops his glove, doesn't he?
No, this isn't the one. This is the Ulfie one was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and no, this might be in the front of the net. Watch here. Watch, he drops his left glove.
Oh,
good night.
Didn't he do it in Pittsburgh too? Like it was.
There was another Pittsburgh one. Yes.
I had a few.
My goodness, Ty.
Well, and the arms up. The brain doctors would say that's a sign of like legit trauma to the brain when the arms go up like that. Like I think it's called fencing or something.
Sorry, Jack. I take it back. That's dirty.
Yeah, yep. An awful one.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's maybe when he was playing 26 and a half minutes at age 36 and retired. He knew more than we did.
Richter
It's like,
what are we doing here?
And look at Ray Ferraro's going to come in there. I don't know if I want a piece of that.
What's Ray going to do? Like,
what's anyone going to do?
Well, yeah, there is Ray. That is Ray.
That is so dirty.
Thing is like Domi was so tough too.
So tough.
Like
and the thing, could beat you and could take a beating.
Yeah, like that's crazy. Oh,
and this is I was going to say, I got to watch the way you describe these things. This is a great one. It's not great. It's 1993. Jamie McLennan is part of an Islander team.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's a goal.
He's in the net cheering, and look at this, like 5 potato arrows. Turr separated his shoulder. Like, look at the puck's in the net. Now watch Hunter like skate him down, gliding. Turn. Turge has no idea, and then runs him through the boards. Like,
this is like Bobby Clark broken arm shit. This is wow.
It was insane. He got 23 games.
21 games, I think, is what it was.
Insanity.
And his story was, I didn't know the puck was in.
Right.
He didn't know the puck was in.
Dude, fist bump, arms up. All the fans he's looking at are cheering.
That was F it.
And here's the other thing. I was at a golf tournament with Terj last summer, and we brought it up. He goes, he never apologized. He never reached out, never nothing. And he goes, I've seen him since. Like you would think at some point.
Paul Cruz steambolted me. He went low on me, and I landed on my head, and he knocked me out. Yeah, you run into the guy, you're like, dude, kind of sorry about that.
Yeah.
Never nothing.
I've never, like Terj is like, that guy has never reached out, never nothing. Like he's not going to now. It's 30 years later. But it's like, I remember my slash on Johan Franzen. Like I sent a note over, like going, sorry about it. And I talked to him in Sweden like 2 years later. I was over there where Kipper tried to poison me on one of those drinking boats. But that's a different story. That Sillias or whatever, that drinking boat that, my God, we ended up in Sweden for the night.
Yes, that sounds great.
Sillias, I think it was.
Oh.
Him and Vesatoskala tried to kill me. Anyways, but I ran into Johan Franzen. We've talked about it several times, but I always felt bad because
and as bad as that slash is, that is not.
That's a love tap compared to these guys. Literally a love tap. Yeah.
Well, we love you, Noodles.
Love you.
Thank you. Now you make me feel better. I can enjoy the red part of my.
Don't be sharing that with your kids. Hide that stuff.
Make sure
that's yours.
Make sure Kipper's not around dropping stuff into that. Appreciate you, pal. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I'm still traumatized from him. He poisoned me.
And he never apologized either.
No.
Sure. I'm going to message him right now and say, you owe me an apology for that.
Next week, we want that story.
Sillias, the drinking boat from Finland. I think it's from like Helsinki to Stockholm. You go hours.
Next week.
It's insanity. All right. Chat soon.
Yeah, there you go. That's quite a little thing to drop right at the end.
Yeah, that's when
Kipper tried to kill me with the drinking game. Oh, wow. All right. Hey, buddies. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.